Shalom. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahawah Ba'Shem, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Ha-Rakah-Kodash. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. And I want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are teaching this truth with sincerity. Alright, so the other day, I was at the gym. I was sitting in the sauna because, my body was a little sore. And I was just trying to warm up my muscles, So I was sitting in a sauna and I'm literally meditating. At the time, I was listening to the elder apostle Gabar. One of his videos was playing. And as I'm sitting there in the sauna, three older men, older than I am, entered the sauna, and I was listening to them have a conversation. And I'm sitting there first trying to decide what topic I wanted to do my lesson on. And lo and behold, about 5 minutes into the conversation that the men were having, these older men, there was a Jake, and then two Edomites. And the Jake was, he had the spirit of a Christian, because he went in there and he was talking about, he was telling the Edomites, we have such an awesome God that some days when I go for a walk, he can make one side of the street raining and on the other side it was dry. So he was sharing his testimony with these Edomites. And me, I'm thinking, well, these Edomites are probably atheists in my head. I'm thinking that because I wasn't part of the conversation. I was just eavesdropping on these older men. So anyway, the Jake kept, with his Christian spirit, speaking to the Edomites. And, about 5 minutes into the conversation, they brought up the topic of the microchip. And they were talking about how the microchip was going to be manifesting and saying that basically, one of the Edomites' words that came out of his mouth was, he said it's going to be convenient, and right at that moment, the 2/3 Jake, he's like, oh, I'm not putting that thing in my body, but I just sat there and listened to them, and I was pretty amazed just because of the fact that they were all speaking on the subject of the microchip. And they were, Jake, he was a, older man, chubby old man, but he was in the spirit of Christianity, I could tell by the way he was talking to the Edomites. And the whole time I'm thinking in my head, these Edomites are probably atheists, because they weren't really, everything he was talking to them, he was trying to be a friendly Christian. That's how our people are in darkness, always trying to be friendly with the Edomite and trying to, whatever it is that they try to do, assimilate. But anyway, it brought me to these scriptures. So the first one I'm going to read is Joel 2:28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. All right, so that's a perfect example. The Lord always gives you examples. I'm sitting in that sauna trying to, debate and think about what I wanted to do a lesson on that day, which I never got around to. But, I'm doing it now. So what happened was, that day was a great example. The Spirit of Yahawah, meaning these scriptures, the Holy Spirit, is going to be poured upon all flesh in these days. So these men were, because I actually did, enter the conversation after I listened to about 15 minutes. And I asked them if they were, they believed in the scriptures, I said, or are you atheist? And the men, one of them in gay fashion, threw his hand up because he said he was an atheist. But You know, and that's the point I was telling the 2/3. I said, hey, these men, they don't even believe in what you believe in, you know. So for, you know, you to bring this up to them, they're not relating to you. You know, I just straight up told him that, you know. I told him he was an Israelite, and I told them who the Israelites were. And, you know, the 2/3, he agreed. He believed that he was an Israelite. And the Edomites, they just sat there, and they you know, they can't deny truth. So, and it didn't matter what they thought at the time anyway. But this is the verse 28 here talks about, you know, Yahweh is going to